At Christmas lunch, my niece turned to my son and said, "Grandpa says you're not really family because your mom used to clean rich people's restrooms." Everyone chuckled. I kissed my son's head and left. That night, my sister texted, "Don't forget the $8,500 for the mortgage tomorrow." I replied, "You'll get what you've earned." They did not realize what happened the next day. My name is Lena. I'm 36, the oldest of three, a single mom to a 14-year-old named Theo, and the unofficial fixer in a family that always needs fixing. I do payroll and bookkeeping for small contractors. I'm the one people text when they can't remember their password, when a bill is due just this once, when someone needs a ride to the airport at 4 a.m. I've always told myself helping keeps the peace. Christmas lunch was at my dad's. Ham sweating on a platter, paper crowns, the TV playing some old comedy nobody watched. Theo sat next to me, tapping his foot under the table the way he does when he's trying not to draw attention. And then my niece, 8 years old, sparkly headband, gap-toothed grin, turned to Theo and said, clear enough for the room, "Grandpa says you're not really family because your mom used to clean rich people's restrooms." The room didn't go quiet. It went awkward. A couple chuckles. My sister Jade snorted into her Prosecco. Dad kept carving like he hadn't heard. My stepmother's smile froze. Theo blinked twice. I could see the math in his eyes. Joke? Not a joke? Fight? Leave? "Who told you that?" I asked. Calm, because that's my trick. Keep the voice flat so they don't get to call you crazy. She said, "My grandpa," pointing at Dad like she was proud of getting the answer right. Jade waved her hand. "She's a kid. Don't be dramatic." Theo's hand found mine under the table, warm, small. My heart did that horrible hot, cold drop I still get when people talk about the years I cleaned houses to survive. 2 jobs, 3 buses, bleach in my hair, knees busted from tile floors. I cleaned a lot more than restrooms. I cleaned entire lives. Dad finally looked up. "Oh, for heaven's sake, we're joking. You know we love you." Jade's husband smirked. "It's aspirational. Look at you now." I leaned over and kissed Theo's head. "We're going," I said. I wasn't loud. I wasn't shaking. I stood, took our coats from the chair, and walked us out past the tree with its mismatched ornaments, the ones I bought when Jade forgot to bring any, and the stack of gifts I'd wrapped for everyone but myself. On the porch, the air was sharp and clean. Theo whispered, "Did I do something wrong?" "No," I said. "You did everything right." We were halfway to the car when my phone buzzed in my pocket, then again, and again. I didn't look until we were buckled. On the lock screen, 3 missed calls from Jade, 1 from Dad, and a new text from my sister. "Don't forget the $8,500 for the mortgage tomorrow." I stared at it. My thumb hovered. Then I typed, "You'll get what you've earned." I put the phone face down and drove, the house shrinking in the mirror, the laughter still rolling on without us. I didn't start as the bank. It happened by inches. At 19, I was cleaning houses, hotel bathrooms, whatever paid cash. By 22, I was reconciling invoices nights, reading free accounting blogs, asking dumb questions nobody had time for. I got good. I got faster. A contractor took a chance on me. Then another. I learned to turn chaos into columns. I learned that most fires are paperwork someone ignored. The family loved that skill. At first it was small. "Can you look at this bill? Can you help me apply for a card? Can we use your Costco membership?" Then Dad retired early for his piece and forgot taxes existed. Then Mom's alimony ran out. Then Jade and her husband bought a bigger house than they could afford because the market only ever goes up. Jade would say, "Lena, you get it. We're building generational wealth." Generational meant me. The $8,500 started as, "Just this month, we're in between closings." I set up a transfer, then another. Jade promised spreadsheets and dates. I created them for her. I color-coded, I added notes. Loan, not gift. I asked for signatures. She left. Stop being corporate. Dad had his own favorites. Ryan, our brother, got the coddling. He's finding himself, Dad said, when Ryan borrowed my car and returned it a week later with the gas light on. When I asked for my key back, Dad called me selfish. You forget where you came from, he added, like he was handing out wisdom. Where I came from? I came from ammonia burns and calluses. I came from counting quarters at a laundromat and making 1 can of soup feed 2 people. I told my kid, we're okay, while returning bottles behind a gas station. The first boundary I tried was tiny. I told Jade I was removing my card from their grocery app. She pouted in the family chat. Wow, okay, I guess we can starve then. Dad replied with a winky face. Don't be mean to your sister, Lena. Ryan posted a meme about girl bosses. Everyone laughed. I muted the thread. Little things piled up. Jade's lost $600 birthday envelope that must have been thrown out with the paper. Ryan's emergency dentist bill that turned out to be VIP tickets. Dad's habit of calling Theo that boy when he wanted a favor, but your son when he wanted a jab. I kept paying because that's what I do, prevent fires. I told myself it was for stability, for the mortgage company not calling Jade's kids at dinner, for Dad not burning through the rest of his savings asking strangers for bridge loans, for Ryan not dragging us into some mess I'd have to bleach clean. And then the class jokes started. Don't worry, Lena can scrub it. You know how she loves a good toilet. Har, har. The first time, I smiled tight and said nothing. The second time, I said, not funny. Dad rolled his eyes. We're just teasing. 3 weeks before Christmas, Jade asked if I could float them, one big one. We got a rate adjustment, she said. It's just until tax return season. How much? I asked. $85, she said. So casual, I thought she meant $85. $8,500? I said. Don't act shocked, she snapped. You know our numbers. You're the one who told us to refinance. I told her to refinance 2 years ago when rates were sane. She waited. She always waited until the last second, then looked to me like the fire department. I'll think, I said, which meant I opened the mess. I pulled up the old transfers, the temporary ones that never returned. I scrolled through a graveyard of "I'll pay you Friday" texts. I looked at the calendar I'd built for Jade, the one she didn't open, and added a red box around the 26th. Out of money if Lena doesn't send. I also looked at my own life. Theo's summer program that wasn't cheap but kept him safe and happy. My car with the rattly belt I kept ignoring. My molar that cracked in October, which I'd postponed fixing because Jade had needed a bridge and Dad had needed just a bit for property taxes. Another little moment came the week before Christmas. Theo's science teacher emailed to say he'd been distracted. After class, he told me, Grandpa said we don't belong in that neighborhood. He said people know because of, because of what? Because of the jobs I did to feed him? I almost texted Jade right then to say, no more. Instead, I baked cookies for the family lunch. I thought if I showed up with something warm and sweet and stayed quiet, we could glide. Then my niece said her line. Everyone chuckled, and something in me took a breath I'd been holding for years. That night, the text came, like a calendar reminder. Don't forget the $8,500 for the mortgage tomorrow. I stared at it a long time. Then I wrote the truest sentence of my life. You'll get what you've earned. Morning, December 26th. I made coffee, opened my laptop, and did what I do best. I put the chaos on paper. I pulled bank statements. I screenshotted transfers. I exported every temporary loan since 2018. I added a column, promised payback date, another, paid back, 92 rows, total $61,740. Notes, cash for Jade's inspection, Dad's car repair, Ryan's deposit that was actually bottle service. Then I wrote in the family chat, "Good morning. I will not be sending $8,500. I will not be sending any more money at all. Attached is a ledger of everything I've covered for each of you since 2018. You called it help, I called it loans. Either way, it's over." Also attached is the audio from yesterday where a child felt safe repeating that my son isn't really family because I used to clean bathrooms. That was the last ask you get. Ryan replied first, "Wow, spreadsheet warrior, congrats." Jade, "We have a payment due today. You can't do this." Dad, "Lena, be reasonable. Family doesn't nickel and dime. Send it and we'll talk." I typed, "We're done talking. Boundaries are not punishments. If you need a plan, call your bank." Jade called me heartless. Ryan called me a traitor. Dad called me ungrateful. I hit mute again. Then I canceled the auto transfer I'd set up for Jade months ago. I called my own dentist and booked the appointment I'd been putting off. I made Theo pancakes and told him the truth. We are not their wallet anymore. He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath too. The first ping hit at 9:42 a.m. Jade, Pauling. I let it ring out. A minute later, "Are you happy? The bank says late fees start at 5 p.m. I put my phone on the counter and washed dishes. The quiet felt strange. Not empty. Clean. At 10:15, Dad sent a long voice message about respect. I didn't play it. At 11:03, Ryan posted a meme of a staircase with the caption, "Never bite the hand that feeds you." I almost laughed. Then Aunt Mara, quiet, usually neutral, wrote privately, "Saw the ledger. I'm sorry. That was a lot. How are you?" I told her, "Better than yesterday." At 1:27, Jade's husband texted a photo of their bank portal. "See, it's due. This is on you if we get hit." I zoomed in and saw the truth. Trips, deliveries, subscriptions. There was money for what they liked, none for what they owed. I wrote, "I covered you 14 times. The 15th is yours." At 2:10, Dad called from Jade's kitchen. I know that echo. He didn't say hello. "You ruined Christmas," he snapped. "No," I said. "You did. You taught a child to shame my work and then asked for money." He tried to pivot. "You think you're better because you make a little money now?" "I think I'm done financing disrespect," I said. Silence. Then the slam of the phone. By 3 o'clock, the group chat was a bonfire. Cousins weighed in. Some tried to straddle the middle. Can't we all be kind? Jade posted a selfie with red eyes. "My own sister won't help me keep a roof over my kids' heads." I considered replying with the rows in my ledger labeled first, second, third roof save, but I didn't. At 4:45, Theo and I walked to the park. The sky was pale, the cold biting. He kicked out a dusting of frost and said, "Do we still go to Grandpa's house?" I shook my head. "Not for a while." He nodded, like he had already decided that. Back home, I opened the closet and pulled down a shoebox. Receipts, notes, birthday cards with IOUs stuck inside. I'd kept everything because I'm me. I photographed what mattered and filed the rest away. Not to hurt them, to remember I wasn't crazy. At 5:12, Jade texted, "You monster! We missed the cutoff. Late fee posted. Happy?" I felt the old guilt try the doorknob. I didn't let it in. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and started dinner. People think the aftermath of a boundary is fireworks. It isn't. It's a bunch of small, quiet choices. I cooked actual food instead of eating a granola bar over the sink. I told Theo to pick the movie. I didn't check my phone. When my mind wandered to the phrase, not really family, I said out loud, "We are a family." Theo looked over. "Yeah," he said, like it was obvious. The next morning, the tone in the chat shifted. Panic gives way to bargaining. Jade sent, "Okay, payment plan? $100 a week? We'll make it work." Dad wrote, "If you send just the $8,500, we can revisit jokes that went too far." Revisit jokes. I typed, "No money. If you want repair, start with an apology to my son." Ryan dropped a skull emoji. Jade wrote, "Fine. Sorry, Theo." I showed it to him. He squinted. "That's not real," he said. It wasn't. To him, it was to the money. At noon, Aunt Mara called. "Your dad's stomping around, Jade and Evan are fighting, Ryan's on the couch pretending he's Switzerland. It's a mess." "How are you?" I asked. "I'm making soup," she said. "If you and Theo want some, come by." We did. Her kitchen smelled of garlic and thyme. She handed Theo a bowl and whispered, "You're my family." He smiled, shy and relieved. Day 3, the story started changing. Dad told people I'd blindsided them. Jade posted about financial abuse from a sibling. I didn't respond. I took Theo to the library and helped him pick novels that didn't have homework attached. I sat in a chair by the window and felt a muscle in my neck unclench for the first time in years. On day 4, I got a text that made me stop moving. It was from Jade's daughter, the niece with the sparkly headband. "Aunt Lena, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was mean. Mommy says you're mad at us. I don't want you to be mad at me." I wrote back, "I'm not mad at you. You didn't do anything wrong. Grown-ups made a mistake. I love you. I love your jokes when they're about cats and bananas." She sent 6 cat emojis and a banana. I laughed. Then I cried, but quietly, in my kitchen, with the microwave humming like a friend. By the end of the week, Jade had found a temporary solution. Her husband's parents wired money with strings. "We'll be fine," she wrote, as if the moral of the story was, "Look, it worked out." I didn't correct her. The moral wasn't for her yet. Stuff shifted in ways you can't screenshot. Theo started sleeping through the night again. I booked him a spot in that summer program. I bought myself a new pair of work shoes and threw out the ones with the cracked sole I kept pretending were still good. I sat down with my own numbers and moved family emergency funds into Lena and Theo emergency, where they belonged. A funny thing happened when I stopped paying for everyone else's life. My life got loud. The dishwasher sounded like a miracle. My own goals, tiny, boring, real, took up space. A safe car by spring. Teeth that don't ache. A weekend with no spreadsheets that aren't mine. And when the quiet part of my brain tried to whisper, "You're the mean one," I'd open the ledger and read the last line I added after Christmas. Boundary set. Paid in full with peace. A week later, Dad called and didn't start with a lecture. He cleared his throat. "The kid okay?" he asked. "He's fine. He'll be better when he hears you say he's family." Silence. Then, "I was out of line," he said, each word like it cost him $1. "I'm proud of what you did to get where you are." I let that sit. It didn't undo years. It was a start. Jade texted me a photo of a payment plan she'd drawn on notebook paper. Arrows, stars. First $100 next Friday. Then, "Can we come over Sunday, just to talk?" I replied, "Not yet. Start with the plan. When there's movement, we can try coffee in a public place. No money talk, no jokes about work."
Scene. No reply. That was okay. Boundaries aren't invitations. They're fences with gates you open when it's safe. I took Theo to the mall to replace the hoodie he'd outgrown. At the register, he said, "Are you sure it's okay?" He meant the money. He meant the guilt. It's okay, I said. We're spending our money on our life. He nodded. Good. On the way home, he asked if I miss Christmas lunch. I told him the truth. I miss the idea of it. The real thing? Not so much. He looked out the window at the gray sky and said, "Then we can make a new one." That night, we ate spaghetti with too much garlic and watched a movie that made us both laugh. My phone buzzed face down on the counter. I didn't look. The world didn't end. Here's what I know now. I am not the job I used to do, and I am not the wallet they made me. The years I cleaned other people's messes taught me something I didn't know how to say until now. Dignity isn't about who you serve. It's about what you won't accept. They wanted my money and my silence. They got neither. What they got is what they earned. The bill, the mirror, the space to hear their own echoes. And what we got, me and my son, is ours. Peace that doesn't beg, love that doesn't negotiate, a small life that belongs to us. I don't need anyone to clap for it. I just need to keep it.